Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, good. This is my first time to use YouTube Live. Uh, I've been using Adobe Connect, but I guess it's so expensive now, so I have to go for free. So you can hear me. You can hear me clearly? Oh, great. I guess we have to wait for the others. It's still 8:02. I hope they are marami tayo today, no? So I've seen your submissions. As of I saw 15 submission of our assignment. And sa nababasa ko, I guess most of you are very keen on observing what happened in the classroom. And you have most of the submission. It's very clear that you try to look at on how the learning theories are being applied in your classroom observation. And I'm glad to know that most of you are giving details on what you have observed. Okay, so I guess for today, I will try to share to you very quickly. This is our topic for the next session, but I'll give you this in advance. This is not in our module. That's why it is very important for me to discuss it live with you. And then I will also share the presentation in our forum. Okay. So this content is in addition of the module that we have. Okay. So this is another approach. This approach is what we call teaching math through problem solving. Heard of that approach? Teaching math through problem solving. Could you tell me through the chat if you have heard about teaching math through problem solving? Okay. Am I right that you most of you heard about teaching math through problem solving? So to start that, we have I have a problem for you. I guess there's a delay of our on the second slide. You can see a problem on your screen where you need to use your pencil now, and then you tell me if you can find at least three solutions in this problem. So given this grid, it measures 1 square centimeter. Tell me what's the area of the figure and tell me how many solutions did you arrive to get the same area? Okay, great, Mark. Okay, we'll try to see if Mark already practiced teaching math through problem solving. Okay, so please try to solve the one that I posted. Please tell me what's the area of this figure. And then tell me how many solutions did you use to get the answer of the problem. Anyone who have the measure of the area of the figure shown on your screen? Hello, Mark, Irene, Rowena, Gina. Okay, Mark, thank you for that. How many solutions do you have in finding the answer of this problem? Oh, that's Irene. Answer now? It's 29.5 square centimeter. Great. All right. Right. I agree with you, Gina. So if you were a child, you will count it manually. Depending on the grade level of the of our students or of our learners. Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Mark. Thank you for that, Mark. So Mark haven't counted it manually. Instead, Mark have cut the figure into a rectangle plus a what what is that? Plus a triangle. Okay? So therefore, in this problem, it has one unique answer, which is 29.5 square centimeter, but it has a lot of solution for this problem. What is very clear for us, we know what's the concept of area. But if you try to look at our K to 12 curriculum, if you were in grade 2, or if in grade 2, uh, area is already there, but the pupil will just count the number of squares inside the figure, right? The number of grid or squares inside that figure. Okay, so this is a sample of a problem that has one solution, a one correct answer, but with many solutions. Oh, I'm so sorry. The second one that I want to show to you is another problem. Um, this problem, I've used this when I introduce writing algebraic expression. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. So everyone, we'll move on to the next. This problem is, I use this when I teach algebraic expression in grade 7. So my when I was still teaching in high school, I've been using this problem. But now, since I am now teaching future teachers, I recommend my student when they introduce algebraic expression, they will not say that our lesson for today is about algebraic expression. They will start with this problem. Okay? So if you read on your screen about the students will make an open box, making an open box using still a grid paper. I really love using grid paper in my class where it's you could visualize what is a real measure as well as when you construct a box like this. So the box will be made using the material 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter. If you were Lucy, what possible boxes can you make? So in our chat, would you tell me what are the possible dimensions of the box? Could you give or could you think a dimension of a box using 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter with an open top? Okay. Thank you. That's a very good question, Gina. Uh, if possible, you can fold along the corner. Of course, you could do that. But if possible, we will not cut the corners, okay? So we will just fold, or maybe you could form a triangle. Okay, you could do that, but if possible, less cutting. I realized that I need to make a rule on this problem. 12 by 12? Interesting. Interesting answer. So we have one answer by Rowena. It's 12 by 12. There should be no waste material out of that 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter. So what do you think? I guess this is a very interesting problem. And can I give this problem on our classroom? And I want to see how many possible boxes could be made out of 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter. I'll give you a hint. I use this problem. So first they will just make a box, but at the end of the day, we should generalize because you could have varied dimension of the box, and then we could describe or make a generalization on how could we express the dimension of the box. Okay, in that case we can introduce how to write an algebraic expression. Okay, so only Rowena have an answer. Others are still thinking. So I'll give that problem open to all of you. And maybe I'll post that tonight. And then so that we could have a discussion, what are your varied answer of this problem? So Problem number two is an open problem. You have different answers on this. All of these answers are right, depending on how you defend your answer. But 12 by 12, I'm not, uh, I try to think about that box. There's a rule on this problem. There should be no material wasted. You should maximize the 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter measure. Okay, so since we, oh, there's another, good. So I guess Geraldine is near to it because it's a box. So therefore, we need a length, we need a width, and we need a height. Okay, Geraldine have an answer of 12 by 6 by 2. Geraldine and Rowena, thank you very much for your answer. But for everyone, I will post again number 3. So remember that in the first problem, it has one solution, but you have varied answer. In problem number 2, there will be varied answer, but all of those varied answers, some of them will be right or maybe wrong, or because we have wasted material, and all of these are right. Since there are varied possibilities, therefore, these possibilities could be described into an algebraic expression. That's why that problem number 3, I use that when I introduce algebraic expression in my class. Okay, so why do I start with that? Because the K to 12 curriculum that we are implementing now is very fitting on developing students to be thinkers, to be critical thinkers. This K to 12 curriculum aim to develop just aim to develop these key skills, that's critical thinking and problem solving. And every teacher should think about that at the end of my teaching, at the end of the school year, I am very sure that critical thinking and problem solving was developed in every learner in my classroom. And for me, that's a very challenging task of a math teacher. To do that in our curriculum, we must encourage cooperative learning where students will work together, discover the pattern, do inquiry-based learning activities in our class, think about, reflect about what happened. It is mentioned in our book that why the students say, yung example ni ma'am, ang dali-dali naman. Bakit sa exam naging mahirap yon, right? So it's because students were not taught how to reflect on the example and how to apply it in a different context. So therefore, it's very important for us as a teacher for them to develop critical thinking and problem solving. We should or we are encouraged to use the following approach: reflective learning, constructivism, where we should not think that students are tabula rasa. They cannot do this because they don't know how to solve fractions. So therefore, I need to say you need to add. We need to. Our lesson for today is about adding, multiplying, division, and then at the end we'll solve problem. So maybe they've learned that before because when you talk about the K to 12 curriculum, it is a spiral. integrated in learning the the different strands of math. Okay, so all of this discovery approach, cooperative learning, constructivism, reflective learning, experiential learning, all of this approach could help on developing the critical thinking and problem solving of the learners. To do that, uh, we should every teacher should learn the content well and also use the appropriate mathematical tools. If you observe that in your observation, I've asked you that what instructionals are being used and how they are used, and what mathematical tools do they use. Do they use calculators in their class or what? Okay, so in your observation, I hope that every math teacher is thinking about how to create an environment, an enabling environment in such a way that it is a learner-centered classroom. Okay? So a learner-centered classroom provides the learners plenty of opportunity to engage in higher order thinking. Um, and this is now the K to 12 curriculum. It is encouraged that in our lesson, we should have enabling questions that promote thinking in our classroom. We should prepare an activity that promote problem solving skills. So to do that, therefore, we should be prepared about enabling questions in our classroom. Have you tried to observe, and I guess some of you mentioned that teachers use varied question to develop critical thinking in the classroom. So if it is a learner-centered classroom, we provide many opportunities for students to think, not only compute, think. Uh, one of the trust of one of the development of the implementation of K to 12, DepEd K to 12 curriculum, teachers are encouraged to do research when they implement a lesson. That's why it is called a research-based lesson. So it is a lesson that takes into account what and how students think and learn, what they know, and what they do, and what are their disposition. The purpose of this actually, why do we need to think about on how we implement in our classroom? So that we will know on how to improve on our teaching. But sad to say that some are doing research in their class for them to be promoted to master teacher. But it's okay also. Many of the researchers or many who do action research are also, many of them are promoted because out of the norm. Instead of just giving lesson, they do they do think on what happened in the classroom and then document it. So that's why here in our place, action research is being encouraged in the school. Okay, since we have those key goals that we need to develop problem solving and critical thinking skill, so therefore it is encouraged that through this approach, teaching through problem solving is we always use problem to teach a certain content in math. So let's try to look at on what's our practice in the classroom. Most of most of the teachers are doing teaching for problem solving or teaching about problem solving. Okay? So these are the three types of teaching. Either we do teaching for problem solving, teaching about problem solving, or teaching through problem solving. The difference of these three, I guess it's very obvious based on the title. Teaching for problem solving. Uh, Problems are given to the students after you discuss all the content and skills. For example, uh, in grade, maybe we're talking about if I'm teaching in grade 7 and I'm teaching measurement. So therefore, I need to teach what is the formula of perimeter, area, volume, and then at the end, I will have problem solving, right? Okay. So therefore, uh, you teach first the needed content before we do problem solving. So that is what we call teaching for problem solving. Are you doing that in your classroom? Okay, so Gina have shared that we call those starters in our school games question to start the lesson. Right, Gina. And also Mark said that with maybe Mark is trying to share that if you post problem, we anticipate possible responses. Here, when you say, I'll go back to the slide, teaching for problem solving, I guess these are the most practice as approach where to, if you want student to learn about measurement, then ituro mo muna natin lahat yung how to convert, how to how to convert measures, and then how to add, okay, measures, and then before we do problem solving, right? Okay, another approach is what we call teaching about problem solving, where we teach students this process. According to George Folia, teaching about problem solving involve students after general method of solving problem. They are given the general method of solving problem, and the different strategies are discussed. So we teach them how to do trial and error. We teach them how to work backward and all those things. And then we teach them how to process the process of solving a problem. So the four process is here in our screen. Okay, where we understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and look back. So what is this teaching through problem solving? All right, thank you, Mark. Uh, what is this teaching through problem solving? Here, problems are given to the students at the start. So that's why I'm telling you a while ago, the problem that I've been using in teaching algebraic expression, I gave the second problem. So I don't say that my lesson for today is about algebraic expression. No. We have an activity today, and our activity today is to construct a box. We will make a box out of this 10 by 16 grid paper. Okay? So it's up to you. How do you make the box? What is very important, you don't have to waste any paper. You're not allowed to cut and then put those on a bin. Okay? So you must maximize the paper in order to make a box. What are the different dimension of your box? Every group have different dimension of their box. And then I ask them, what are your dimensions? And then you put that in a table. And then after that, we try to discuss what is the general expression on finding the length, the width, and the height of that box. Okay? So that is what we call teaching through problem solving, where the problem is used as a context to teach the topic. The making of the box is used as a context to teach algebraic expression, to develop the skills and apply the skills to unfamiliar solution. Okay, another one. I we've used this. One of my student teachers have used this problem in teaching triangle inequality theorem. Okay, in teaching triangle inequality theorem, where Luisa had a 36 centimeters piece of stick. She used the stick to form a triangle. The shortest side of the stick was 6 centimeter. What could be the length of the other side of the triangle that she formed if each length was a whole number? Could you think about that one? Oh, thank you, Gina. Oh, yes. Yes, I agree with you, Eduardo. Because I guess students still need support for them to be successful in solving a problem. That's why we do it a very structured way in solving a problem. 'Kay? Please try to look for a length of that problem. 15 and 15. Okay, so we have 15 and 15 from Irene, and from Gina. I guess they have the same answer. But Mark have a expression, right? Mm-hmm. Interesting. You have 2x minus x is equal to 36. Uh-huh. That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. So you see, uh, this problem, you have different way of doing it for this problem, and you have different answer with it. Is it only 15 and 15? Merced also have the same answer. Okay. So do we have other measure of sides for this one? Right, Eduardo. You should be many. And then if you try to think about those sides, marami, but uh, with our experience, the different outputs of the students, and then they've realized that some two lengths are could not be the side of a triangle, even though they're given different sides of the two triangle, but they've realized that some of those sides could not form a triangle because you have to think about the inequality theorem that the sum of the two sides of a triangle must be greater than the other side, right? So after this activity, after this problem is used to teach the theorem that the sum of the two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side. Yeah, some of them, Geraldine, I agree with you. Some students have that answer, any length that would sum to 36, right? But some of those sides would not form a triangle. Kahit anong gagawin mo sa angle, hindi talaga siya mag-form ng uh, triangle. That's why after that, listing all those sides that form a triangle, saan dito ang nag-work, saan dito ang hindi. And then we will now make an observation that look at the two sides and look at the third side. What have we observed? And then at the end, we'll state or we'll describe the sum of the two sides is greater than the third side. Okay? Okay, so actually this problem is very interesting when we give this to a student. So when we give this kind of problem, we will not start right away with the theorem, but let's try them to explore a certain situation, and then at the end they would realize the theorem, and then let's prove it after. Okay, so we do this also in a geometry class. So I hope you understand now what type of problem is being used for teaching for problem solving. So when you use a problem for teaching for problem solving, either varied solutions or it could have varied correct answers, such as this problem and the problem of a box. Okay? So, all right, Irene, as long as we satisfy, yeah, Irene, as long as we satisfy the inequality theorem. But here, this problem was used before teaching the triangle inequality theorem. So this problem is being used to teach the triangle inequality theorem. Okay? So, yung problem is hinihila siya dun sa motivation na part. Okay? If you try to look at it, we will just use the measurement on that problem. And by the way, if you use this problem for teaching geometry, as you could see, it will address two strands, geometry, measurement, and maybe algebra. That's the purpose actually of choosing the right problem. If you choose the right problem and it addresses at least two strands, that's a very good problem. So a good problem that you will use for teaching through problem solving, or it is recommended that it will address two strands. It has many solutions, one correct answer, or many possible answers. If that problem satisfies that one, it's a very good problem that we could use in the approach teaching through problem solving. Okay. Yes, thank you for that, Eduardo. Yeah, I agree. Discovery approach, or as not only that, you could do activity to do discovery approach, as well as use teaching through problem solving approach. If we do teaching through problem solving, actually the implementation with this is pose the problem, ask the students work in groups together, solve the problem, and after that, let them post their varied answers. And then try to think about which of those posting had a correct answer. And you use that, their varied solution, as your springboard on discussing the topic. So that is teaching through problem solving. If we always do, or kahit na hindi siya always, or if we implement teaching through problem solving, yung problem solving hindi na siya nasa huli na pwedeng kalimutan, no? Yung problem solving nasa, hilain mo na siya sa top at gamitin mo siyang situation na ituturo yung content. So in that case, it's only a dream if a math teacher knows this approach. Maybe at the end of the school year, every student really knows how to solve a problem. It's because part of discussing the topic before you present the topic, if a teacher choose a very good problem, then yung problem nasa una na, hindi na siya nasa huli. Right? So, I will continue with this discussion, maybe because it's 8:43. What is very important now is in our lesson, we should think about on addressing this cognitive skills: knowing, applying, and reasoning. Tatlo lang yan. Tatlo lang ang framework ng teams. That is knowing, applying, and reasoning. Not only in 2011, until now, the team's framework is you are going to measure knowing, applying, and reasoning. Okay? So, with that, if we always address that in our classroom, it's very obvious that you will go with the two key skills of the curriculum, which is critical thinking and problem solving. Remember these keywords when you develop a plan or when you develop a curriculum. These are the keywords for knowing. Kahit na sinasabi ng iba is this is low level, I cannot say this is low level. This is very important because this is the foundation so that aabot sila dun sa reasoning. Okay? They know how to retrieve information, classify things, and then they know how to measure. These are still very important skill. It's because hindi sila pwedeng mag-up dun sa applying if they don't have a good foundation. And this is one example of a question in teams, no? Very important also that we know how to construct. For example, this is a knowing cognitive domain. These are example item. Okay. This one is our applying keywords. This is our sample item. Okay. That is for applying. I'll try to use these teams items in teaching a certain content in your classroom if you are a teacher. Okay? Pero yung nahanap ko is elementary pa lang. For example, for this is for reasoning, and this is actually for, as you could see, dun sa cognitive domain in a team's framework, it addressed two strands. That's why it's very important that we must, if we develop a lesson, think about anong strand ang ma-address sa lesson ko na to. Is it only one strand, geometry lang? Or we think about this lesson addresses geometry and measurement. And for today, I want to develop reasoning in my class. Yung ganun. So, we must think about on how we teach math for us to address our K to 12 curriculum, which is problem solving and critical thinking. Okay? So, yun. All right. So, marami na kayong sagot, no? So, yun. So, for tonight, we've learned about the approach, teaching math through problem solving. I do hope you understand now what's the difference between uh, teaching problem solving or teaching about problem solving. So, teaching through problem solving is thinking about a problem that you could use to teach a certain content. Okay? So, that's all for tonight. Any question for this input? I will post this presentation in our website, as well as the maybe the sample teams questions, and then for just a personal assignment to everyone. But in the coming days, that will be your task. Actually, you are going to develop a lesson plan in such a way that uh, it must it is very evident that in that lesson plan it develops critical thinking and problem solving. Okay. Yes, Gina, do you have a question? Yes, I will post this in our classroom, Gina. Okay. So for tonight, I guess that's all. One of the requirement is you will make a lesson plan in such a way that it will address critical thinking and problem solving. Okay? And the one that I could recommend is think about using teaching through problem solving, not teaching about problem solving or teaching for problem solving, but it should be teaching through problem solving. Okay, thank you everyone, and good night.